But today I'm being very specific in the case of Captain Kalia, because if we move and make it generic, we will not get justice for Dr. Kalia. I have a second caller, but I'm going to take the next caller after I have a question for you, Dr. Kalia. Dr. Kalia, tell me one thing, what keeps you going? You know, I have spoken to you on so many occasions, and I have so much respect for just the way you've been fighting on. After 14, 15 years, what is keeping you going and your family going, and what toll does this fight take on you personally?
In fact, I feel that Captain Saurabh Kalia and his 5 soldiers underwent at the hands of Pakistan. Our suffering, our pains cannot exceed that. Anyway, this simple thing keeps us moving.
I understand. Do you still hope that your government one day will wake up and change its position? I mean, you have had to plead in the country's highest court that your government takes up your son's case. Dr. Kalia?
Yes, Kali, I'm an optimist. Now I pin my hopes on the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and I do wish and pray that the apex court takes notice of everything, every development, every proof, and pulls up the Indian government, who has no respect, no honor for the armed forces and for the martyrs.
You know, Dr. Kalia, I respect your optimism, but the court said in December 2012, and Mr. Chari, that's why this is significant. The court said in December 2012, it said to Dr. Kalia that we fully share your agony, but what is the role of this court? Can we only direct the government to take up the case of Captain Kalia with the International Court of Justice? The court said it's an important issue. If the centre wants, it can take this up with the International Court of Justice. There is no need for our interference. So when the centre says today that we are not going to the International Court of Justice, unfortunately it seems like a dead end, unless the entire country comes up today in large numbers, which it should, to support Captain Kalia's family and say that we are with you, and let the government go out there, push. Even if we lose, let us make a big deal of it, that something like this happened. But unfortunately, Mr. Chari, we are giving up even before doing
was,
yeah.
When General Arora went to court on December 23rd, 2011, the Gujarat High Court specifically told the central government that they should invoke the provisions of International Court of Justice. Very unfortunately, that was enough for the central government to move. But what the central government did instead was approach the Supreme Court and get a stay on the Gujarat High Court's order. Because of the stay, while giving the stay, the Supreme Court had to say this. But even then, the Supreme Court did not tell the central government not to go to International Court of Justice, which they could have easily done. There is absolutely no reason why the government even now cannot do it. You may take up the issue bilaterally, but at the same time you can approach the International Court of Justice. At least that would not have given a body blow to the morale of the Indian Army. Don't forget the fact that Indian Army is not only the defense minister or the army chief and the navy chief. Indian Army is the soldier who fights and who puts his life in front of the bayonets against the enemy. So Indian Army is also the army, the soldier who lays his life down.
No.
Therefore, in order to keep up the morale of the Indian Army, at least the government should have not closed the case. Unfortunately,
it can't close.
If you go by what the defense minister has said, he literally closes the case.
We are closing
and
the
he
case.
has washed his hands off.
Yes, and that's what hurts.
Very sad.
That's what hurts, because I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this directly today. This government, under this government, the CBI lets off Mayawati in the disproportionate assets case. Under this government, the CBI gives a clean chit to Raja Bhaiya, and Raja Bhaiya comes back as a minister, and the government does nothing, either in Lucknow or in Delhi. And the same government today writes to the martyr's father that, look here, Dr. Kalia, we wrote a letter on your behalf 14 years back, and that's pretty much what we are going to do. So I think the time has come to really reevaluate priorities on this one. I give the last word to Captain J.C. Sharma. Captain Sharma, can this be reopened? Can this be reopened?
Let me make it very clear. Firstly, like General Malik, I was one of the signatories, 41 people who issued a statement before the Prime Minister went to meet Nawaz Sharif that the time was not appropriate. I would agree with General Malik that we have followed a soft approach towards Pakistan, which has been taken to be our weakness. We need to be firm, and there are occasions we need to take countermeasures which would deter Pakistan. Nothing else is going to work. Now, reason here, I retired 9 years ago, but I can speculate why it is not being taken, is that every time it is the Pakistanis who want to involve the UN. When we take up the question of LOC violations, they say, why not reactivate the UN military observer group? And we steadfastly say no. So the government is scared of this, that this would once again involve the UN, which we don't want to. But the basic question before us is, are we going to deal with terrorism and the cross-border infiltration
the question is of principle.
The
question is of principle.
Or we will continue to follow
I don't think
they give us 1,000 cuts and we don't give one cut.
I agree with you. Diplomacy is not done on the defensive. You cannot run a country by being on the defensive. You cannot deal with an inimical neighbor by being on the defensive. You cannot fight for justice for a soldier whose body was brought back mutilated in the worst condition by being on the defensive. And if the government believes that being on the defensive, if the government believes that being on the defensive on Saurabh Kalia is going to work,
there is no dearth of options. When people say we don't have any option, that is the biggest nonsense.
Well, I take one caller.
Arnav, one last word, please.
Yeah.
Arnav, one last word.
You know, even
let the government do anything they want.
You know,
but there has to be a public opinion built on all these things.
Absolutely,
and we should make it clear to this government and also to the Pakistani government, also to Pakistan,
where are our
that
leaders?
This government in India is not the final authority on these things.
No, but where are our leaders today? You see,
this government can close 100 such cases.
I am forced
but the people of India will not close this case.
I am forced to ask this today. If all our leaders are so obsessed only with the state elections that they are not bothered about what is happening in this